I have said this many times recently, so I thought I would make a video about it. We are in the springtime of humanity. You know how there comes a moment in the spring where everything is just exploding, where everything is blooming at the same time, and there's no going back. And you know how we have the very long winters where it feels that it's way too cold and way too gloomy and nothing is moving and the sun is barely out sometimes for days in a row, and it feels in that moment, although our minds know better, that those cold, dark, gloomy days will never ever end. But in those darkest days, so much is happening under the earth. Everything is just getting ready to explode, is being nurtured underground in those darkest, heaviest times. And then those spring days come when for weeks we have seen the sun and we have seen one flower here and there blooming. And then one day we realize everything is blooming at the same time. And just the same way that time comes in the spring and it's irreversible. And we know and we feel it in our bones, in the temperatures, in the flowers, in the nature around us. We know the winter is never coming back. Just the same way we are now in the spring of humanity. We are all awakening together. We are all rising together. We are all blooming together, and there is no going back. And as we enter this beautiful time in humanity, we have to remember, understand that we are all awakening and blooming together, that each and every one of us that is doing our work, that is doing our healing, that is doing our best to understand more, to learn more, to be more open, more loving. Each and every one of us is plugging our learning, our lessons, our evolution back into the collective, into the whole humanity as we rise together. And it's important to understand that all of us are connected to the collective, that maybe we don't realize to what extent, but we sometimes feel those thoughts that are not ours and those feelings that are not ours. And it's important to understand when they are yours and when they are from the collective, because we are always plugged in to various degrees. And just the same way, it's important to know that we are feeding back into the collective. We are feeding back our growth, our evolution, all of our victories. It is not for nothing. And when we feel that we're alone, and when we feel that it's for nothing, it's never for nothing. It's for everyone and everybody. And when we don't see the proof of that around us, that's when it's the most beneficial to remember that we are in the springtime of humanity, that humanity is blooming. It's blooming, and we are never going back to what it was. But in order to move forward, we have to imagine a future where there is summer. We have to imagine, and we have to know that others are blooming with us. And that imagination and that belief and that inner knowing will then reflect into the reality around us. So I just wanted to put this out there, because so many of my clients are coming and they feel alone in their struggle and they feel disconnected. And we have never been less alone, and we have never been less disconnected, and our personal journeys have never mattered more than now. as we are rising together. And by the way, this is shot in Central Park. It's a little pond behind, and there's always magic in nature, and there's always something more available in the darkest moments, in the darkest places. There is so much light around us. Much love and light.